HP is just so high, and he has a great set of skills. Um, he has. Let's take a look at those. First skill A1, Burning Iron. He places a provoke. He's an HP champion. That is great. Just like with Norog, pulling those attacks towards the champion that can take those hits. If you pair him up with someone like Skull Crusher who has ally protection, that even helps even more because now he's taking the attacks and sharing the damage with another person. And he's got such high HP. Skull Crusher has such high defense that really the damage is mitigated greatly. So provoke on a champion such as Husk, that's a good thing. His A2, he has a stun. He attacks all enemies. It has a 35% chance of placing a stun debuff for one turn. Damage inflicted is proportional to the enemy's max HP. Now that move is great for the clan boss. That, I believe, on hard is like 106,000 damage every time that you do that. Unfortunately, it's every 5 turns. And if you have a max skill, it only drops it down to 4 turns. And unless you have Golden Reaper or another champion that's decreasing the cooldowns of your skills, it really doesn't compare to a poison or an HP burn or even a bomb, rather. Yes, it does major damage to the clan boss every time you get to use it. Yes, he has high HP, so he doesn't die to the very end, so he has the max amount of turns that any champion is going to have. But since the skills take so long to reset, it's not really that efficient to be using against the clan boss. Yes, it's good, just not that good. Retaliate. Attacks one enemy, damages according to this champion's current HP. Damage based on HP. So if you got his HP way up there, you got him healed, then that move does good damage. So overall, Husk, yeah, he can be a good champion. You got the good artifacts on him, you get him all the way up to level 60. He could be, just like every other champion, a really good champ. Would I put primary focus in on him if you get him as an epic champion? If he's your only epic champion, sure. Why not level him up? Are there better choices out there? Absolutely. Would I waste my skill tomes on him? Absolutely not. Don't do it. You have way better options out there. And by the time you get him fully skilled, you're going to get another champion. You're going to be like, dang it, why did I waste all of those skill tomes? So my suggestion, if you have no other person other than him, or people that are just crappy, sure, he's a good champion to level. If you got better champions out there, don't waste your energy on that. Energy is so important to utilize correctly. So this wouldn't be a champion that I would utilize that energy on. So, moving on. Juliana. Oh, Juliana. The beautiful, beautiful Juliana. Look at that armor. Sick. Sick with it. Now, Juliana, she is a beast. Beast. She takes out the clan boss with such ease. It's insanity. She has fantastic skills. I don't even know where to start. So I'm going to start with the artifacts. Keeping her alive is essential. I got her equipped with lifesteal and critical hits. Critical rating, excuse me. Now that keeps her alive because her critical rate is above 50%. So she's got a pretty good chance that she's going to crit, and she's going to heal herself for 30% of whatever damage dealt by that skill. Now, what skills does she got? Well, let's take a look. Battle Dance. She attacks one enemy 2 times. With each critical hit, fills this champion's turn meter by 10%. So, critical hits. Bam. You want that. So your champion goes more and more. Her A1 increases her turn meter by 10% on a critical hit. So 50% chance that you're increasing the turn meter, unless you're going at a disadvantage, and then you go into that math equation that I don't know. and then that goes down. But for an A1, that is cool. That is great, especially when you get those masteries at level 60. I probably do the one where it does the 30% chance of doing 10% damage of their max HP per turn on her for her masteries, because she has an A1 that has 2 attacks. The odds are with you. Lethal Partner, her A2. That increases, that increases your crit rate by 30%. Bam! Awesome. Then attacks one enemy 2 times. Also good for that mastery. Places a 5% poison, the highest poison you can get, debuff on the target for 3 turns if the attack is critical. So the higher critical rating on this champion, the better she's going to do for you. So keeping her alive, increasing her critical rating, that's going to utilize Juliana's skills to the best of her ability. Now she also has a passive. Oh, she also has a secret. I don't know if they call it secret or special ability. When Romero's on there, will ignore 50% of the target's defense. Now, similar to Harrier, ignoring the defense is huge. Unlike Harrier, it doesn't have to be a critical hit to ignore the defense when Romero's on there. Juliana does major damage. So I don't have Romero. I probably would definitely team those two together, because she does so much damage on the clan boss. If she's ignoring 50% of the HP, then she'll be doing some sweet damage. All right, so what's her A3? Can't get any better than that, right? Wrong. So wrong. Fire of Purgation. Whatever. Purgation? Something, whatever. HP burn. Oh. She's got poison and HP burn. The 2 best attacks for the clan boss. That's what makes her so hard to beat when it comes to champions for the clan boss. She has the 2 best moves that she needs for the clan boss. HP burn does roughly about 75k damage per turn every time that it burns. So, attacks one enemy, removes one random buff from the target, and has a 75% chance placing an HP burn debuff for 3 turns. That's 3 turns. That's 225k damage per HP burn per time that you put it on the clan boss every single time. That's bad ass. So awesome. So awesome. She's really hard to beat when it comes to a clan boss. So she also has an aura, increases the allied critical rate in the arena by 20%. So you throw her on the team with Harrier and PvP. Now Harrier's 77% crit rate is 97% crit rate. Bam. Bam. Huge. And she's Sacred Order. Those two and Hospitaler combined on the Faction Wars is super dangerous. You get her, train her. She's definitely top tier. She's an epic champion, so definitely invest your books in her. She is awesome, guys. She is a great champion to have. If you get her, you are one lucky son of a gun. Train her. Moving on. Horden. Horden is a beast. He is relentless with his attacks. He is very similar to Relic Keeper with his A1 attack, because his relentless strike, if you attacks one enemy 2 times, grants an extra turn if the target is killed. Well, more often than not, he's killing that guy with his first strike, and he's gonna go again, and he's gonna go again. If you got if you're attacking attack champions, his A1 almost always kills him with 1 hit. Almost always. I don't even have him skilled, and he does. It's awesome. Granting that extra turn is essential, because I have him equipped with regeneration artifacts, which every turn that he goes, he restores 10% of his HP, just like on Steel Skull. But with Horden goes and attacks and kills, and that's 10%. If you kill 2 enemies, he just recovered 20% of his HP before giving the opportunity of the enemy to go again. And the more people that he kills every time, 10%, 10%, 10%. So you're constantly healing this guy. It's great. Great combination to do. If you don't have regeneration, Immortal does the same. You're not healing as much, but you can stack it up to 9% if you use all the Immortal on him. Let's move on to his A2, Bloodletter. Attacks one enemy, has 60% chance of placing 50% decreased attack debuffs for 2 turns, heals this champion by 10% of the damage inflicted. So you're decreasing the attack of the person that you're facing against. That's great. If they don't have high attack, then you're just surviving that much longer. So that's something good. The cooldown is a little much, 4 turns, but it's not too bad. It does pretty good damage, so unfortunately it doesn't give you an extra turn if you do kill somebody, and it does a little bit more damage than the Relentless Strike. However, Burning Hatred places a 50% increased attack buff, 30% increased crit rate buff, and a 30% increased speed buff on this champion for 2 turns, and then it grants an extra turn. That's insane. Absolutely insane. Extra turn, 10% health. Bam. Relentless Strike. Now, not only do you have 50% more attack, a 30% more chance of crit rate, and you're faster, all those things combined makes Relentless Strike and Bloodletter so much stronger. And if you're constantly getting extra turns from killing enemies, then you're constantly raising your HP, makes him a very, very dangerous champion. He even has an aura, which increases ally speed and faction crypts by 20%. Haven't utilized that yet, but it's awesome. Don't really have his masteries up yet either, but as a whole, Horden is a great champion to have, especially if you score Relic Keeper, and if you're doing your missions, eventually you will. Those two, a great combination to have. Yeah, Horden, he's a definite trainer. Train that guy. All right. Vrask. Vrask, everybody knows Vrask. Everybody's faced Vrask in the PvP. He isn't a strong champion. He isn't a strong defensive champion. He's got a lot of HP. What makes Vrask such a good champion is that his A1, actually, excuse me, his passive ability, Cannibalism, heals all allies by 10% of his max HP when he inflicts a critical hit. Heals all allies by 10% of his HP. He is a HP champion, so his HP is going to constantly be raised up every time that you level him. I only have him at level 50 right now, so he's just at 8,000 HP, so that's 2,700 HP every time that he crits. He has a 115% chance of critting. So every single time that he attacks, all of your champions are getting healed by 2,700 points. That's awesome, especially if you team him up with a champion such as Skullcrusher that has counterattack, because now every time someone attacks him, he's healing the whole team. It's pretty awesome, guys. Vrask, definitely a trainer. He's not really too good in PvP. He's great in campaign. He's great with in the dungeons and the clan boss, keeping your team alive. If you don't have any other healers, he's probably a top tier healer for you. Definitely train Vrask. Put your books into him, guys. He is a good one. Actually, you don't need to put your books into him, because all his skills do are increase the damage, and we're not even using him for a damage champion. All we're using him for is his critical rate and his heal abilities. So get his HP as high as you can and get his crit rate to 100%, and you're going to have an awesome champion on your hands. Next champion, Chevalier. I was told Chevalier was going to be this awesome champion, and he is so good. His defense is great. Blah, 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 blah. I got him, and frankly, guys, I'm just not impressed. Maybe I have him geared wrong. I thought throwing his defense up. I got him early in the game also, so in my head I wanted to train a defensive team for PvP, and that never actually happened. So, but I trained him anyways, and I got him up there. And what I found out with Chevalier and being a defense champion and a void champion, that works actually against him. Because unlike Harrier, who's an attack champion, who doesn't have a downfall affinity when he's attacking, Chevalier has no enemy that has a super effective attack, but he has no enemy that has a weak attack. So every enemy that attacks him is going to be doing the same amount of damage as their skills say. So defensive champion for Void is probably not the best choice. He is decent. I'm not going to say he's not decent. He has some decent skills. Hack Through is A1. Attacks one enemy 2 times. Has a 20% chance of repeating the attack. Will ignore block damage and shield buffs. That really right there is the only thing that keeps him on my teams. Block damage is a pain in my butt. Crimson Helm and the other champions out there that block your damage, or Valerie that throws out them shields, that's preserving the enemy team for that much longer. It's really, really annoying for me, and that's where I would come into trouble early on in the game, is those block damages, and those shields are really hard to get by. So if you're having problems with that, then maybe Chevalier is for you. Maybe that's something that you do want to invest in. His A2, it's a stun move. It's a stun move. Stun moves are great. When the enemies can't attack, then you are doing your job. Attacks one enemy, has a 50% chance of placing a stun debuff for 1 turn. Damage is based on defense. Has a 50% chance of placing a stun. So you want to get this champion's accuracy up there so you can get even more chance of stunning the opponents, because when they're not attacking, that just gives you more opportunity to defeat the enemy team. Lord Protector. He places a 30% increased defense and 7.5% continuous heal buff on all allies for 2 turns. Now, increasing the defense, that is a great thing to do. Continuous heal, I can't get behind it. 7.5 just really isn't that much. It really doesn't bring in a lot of heal for your team, and doesn't really make that much of a difference alone, unless you got somebody else in there that's also doing a continuous heal or has other heal buffs. Just him by himself, he is not someone that you can rely on to keep your team alive. It just hasn't happened for me. I really wish that was different, because he looks really cool. I think he's a great looking champion. He's on Bannerlords, my strongest team. I would sleep on this guy for a while if you get him. A lot of people would disagree with me. He just doesn't have all the things. Now, if you don't have anybody better, you're looking for a Void champion that's a defense, or you're just looking for a defense champion in general, he may be a good option for you. So I wouldn't discard him entirely. I wouldn't feed him off, but I wouldn't invest it entirely into him right away, because you're probably going to get another champion that's better. Moving on. Hospitaler. She's my chick, yo. I love Hospitaler. Man, I wish she was better. She is Harrier's counterpart. Harrier is my favorite champion in the game. Like I said, he does that damage, and he has that special ability when Hospitaler is on the team. Unfortunately, Hospitaler does not really shine in any specific area as a support champion like most support champions do. Her attack, defense, and HP are all really mediocre, along with her speed, crit rate, and damage, which are all basic. She just really doesn't shine in any particular area. However, you place her on the team with Harrier, and that changes the game. Her first attack is just real basic, attacks one enemy one time, damage based on attack. Doesn't really do that much damage. Wave of Purification, however, it is a decent move. It attacks all the enemies. It's an AoE attack, which is sweet. Has a 50% chance of removing one buff from each target. And that's really useful, guys, when you are facing teams that are fast and then are place buffs on all their champions real quick, and before you can do anything about it, Hospitaller comes in, does this wave of purification. If her accuracy is high, then it takes those debuffs one at a time away. Great. It's a great move when you're facing a team that has a lot of debuffs. Her A3, all of her moves have symmetry with Harrier, which I love because you get some of the combos where they're kind of good, but not really the best combinations. But Harrier and Hospitaller work so well together. And this move here just shows it. Places a 15% increased speed and a 15% increased critical rate buff on all allies for 2 turns. So you pair her up with Hospitaller, or you pair her up with Harrier rather. Not only are you making him faster, but you're increasing that 77% crit rate to now 92%. Now that small percentage that he's not going to crit is practically gone. Has no downfall disadvantage, so he's hitting and he's killing Harrier and Hospitaller all day. How can it get any better than that? Here's how. Merciful Partner, passive ability. Revives a random ally with 25% HP and blocks damage for 1 turn whenever Harrier kills an enemy. And let me tell you, Harrier kills the enemies all day. All day. And when I first started in PvP, I was using Harrier, Hospitaller, and Gorgorob, and whoever else I had on the team at the time. Well, Gore wasn't fully 6-starred yet, and he did die occasionally. Hospitaller and Harrier would be constantly doing their magic, and whenever somebody would go down, bam, Hospitaller is there to bring them back up, because Harrier is just murking everybody. Did I just say murking? Also has an aura, increases ally speed in all battles by 10%. It's not a bad aura to have. You can utilize her and Harrier in pretty much every battle. And those two with the Minotaur in the dungeons, they were my bread and butter until I got a team fully mastered, and then I was able to remove her and then slowly integrate other champions in there. But Hospitaller and Harrier were my bread and butter early in the game. So would I invest in Hospitaller? Maybe. Maybe only if you have Harrier. If you got the two, then she's a definitely good investment to invest in. However, without Harrier, Hospitaller is garbage. Don't invest in her if you do not have the combination of the two. Moving on. Kale, whatever his name is. He is one of your starter champions. He wasn't the champion that I had chosen, but he would have been if I would have known all of his abilities from the very beginning of the game. Let's look at his skills. Dark Bolt attacks one enemy and has an 80% chance of placing a 2.5 poison debuff for 2 turns on the enemy. Now that's his A1. So if all the other abilities are on cooldown or if they're blocked by the enemy team, you still have your A1. So you still have an opportunity to place a poison on the enemy. And that is essential when you're facing the clan boss. That's so good. And not only does he have poison for his A1, he also has poison for his A3. Attacks enemy 4 times at random, has a 40% chance of placing a 5% poison debuff for 2 turns. So not only does he have 1 opportunity to place poison with his A1, but he also has 4 opportunities with his A3. Poison is the primary thing that you should be using against your clan boss, because if he's poisoned, then you're doing damage every single turn. Also has his A2, Acid Rain, attacks all enemies in AoE attack, has an extra 15% chance of inflicting a critical hit. Fill the turn meter of this champion by 25% for each enemy killed. That's great, especially when you have the masteries. You get his masteries going, and then I haven't really invested in him yet, but when you do, you get his masteries. You get that mastery down here at the bottom that has a 30% chance of inflicting bonus damage with each attack. He's got 2 attacks that attack multiple times, so that's 30% each time that he attacks. These 2 moves, Giant Slayer and War Master, once you get to the 6 star, that makes such a huge difference in damage that your champions make. So right now at level 50, he's just an average champion. But once he gets to level 60 and he gets those masteries, he's really one of the most powerful champions in the game. And you can start with him at the very beginning. He's definitely worth the investment, guys, especially if you can get him to 6 stars. Great farmer too, by the way. Speaking of great farmers, Aethel, my primary farmer, who I started off with, she is an amazing farmer. She can take out a lot of the dungeons by herself, especially if they're a green primary dungeon. Her skills have some good abilities. Her A1 is a multi-hit. Attacks one enemy 3 times, has 75% chance of placing weaken, which I told you earlier, when the weaken debuff is on there, it allows other debuffs to be easier placed on the enemy. So weaken is a good thing to have on the clan boss, especially when his resistance is so high in the later clan boss stages. Also, a multi-hit A1, you use that mastery that has that 30% chance for each hit. Now you have a huge damage dealer for your A1. Pretty awesome, guys. Let's move on to the second. An AoE attack has a 15% chance of inflicting extra chance of inflicting a critical hit. Divine Blades is a bad mother because it kills everybody all the time. Higher Blessing increases attack and increases the defense of this champion. Cooldown's relatively slow. I have her equipped with Lifesteal because attacking the enemy 3 times with the basic attack and then having an AoE, you're getting huge numbers back in HP. So you're filling your HP bar big time by utilizing these the Lifesteal. You want to get her attack as high as you can, and just like Call, Cool, whatever his name is, when you get her masteries up, get that 30% on there, she is doing that damage. Definitely worth training. Definitely. Oop, oop, oop. Not heard quite yet. Executioner. Now, I ran into Executioner a lot going through the ranks of PvP. He seemed to be one of the hardest guys to beat. His defense was so strong. He had an AoE that just destroyed people. However, I just don't see it. I mean, he's a farmable champion, so you can get his skills up really quickly, especially when you're farming that campaign. His A1 has a stun, which is good. Like I said, stun means the enemies can't attack. You're doing your job. Attacks one enemy, has a 15% chance of placing the stun. Then you have the chance to increase that debuff chance by 15%. Remember, that's multiplied, not added. Added? Jeez, I can't talk today. Anyways. A2. Attacks all enemies, decreases the turn meter by 20%. Has a 50% chance of placing a 15% decreased speed debuff for 2 turns. While that is great, I don't like that his attack and defense play a role in how much damage is inflicted with this turn. I could be wrong. But I feel like if it's just specifically towards attack or specifically towards defense, then you know which way to build him through his artifacts so you can get to the maximum potential. When it has two, now you're splitting your artifacts in two ways, trying to get both of them up. I don't know. I feel like that's just not good use of your artifacts. So maybe could be good. I could be wrong. I don't really know. Please feel free to let me know if there is an advantage to having attack and defense, because I am still learning a lot of things about this game. I've only been playing for less than 6 months. There's still so much to learn. You guys help me, I help you, best of my knowledge. Everyone's sharing knowledge. That's the best thing for us, so everybody can get better at the game. Placing, is A3. I have no idea what that says for the name of it, so I'm not even going to try to murder that word. So I'm just going to read the description. Places a 60% increased defense buff on this champion, and places a counterattack champion on this champ for 3 turns. That keeps him alive for a while. Nobody wants to attack a champion that has a counterattack because you know you're getting damage done to you. So, this was what was so difficult for me coming up through the ranks of PvP, running into this guy because he was counterattacking everybody. He was always placed with other champions that had counterattacks, and I was just constantly getting raped by this guy over and over and over because he's a very strong champion, and he's farmable. His skills can be unlocked very easily, and for that reason, and that reason alone, I would say yes, train the Executioner. If you don't have anybody better for a defense champion, he can potentially be a good asset to your team if you have the proper team built. So he would be a lower tier, but yes, I would still train him. Now, Yaga the Insatiable. I got him through the daily login rewards, and I was geeked because I needed a red champion that had some poison for the clan boss. And I trained him immediately. I threw him in my sparring pit. I got him up there, and I never used him until I got him to level 50 and 4-star ascended. Like, okay, I got a blue clan boss ready. I'm going to throw him on my team. And man, was I disappointed with this guy. I thought for sure he was going to be able to do some damage with all the poison that he's got, with all the extra damage with the poison skills that he's got. But really, he just fell short. Fell short of all of my expectations. Let's go over his skills, and I'll let you know what I did not like. His base move, attacks one enemy, has a 40% chance of placing a 5% poison for 2 turns. That is sweet. 5% poison on his base attack. How can you go wrong? That's so sweet. Well, unfortunately for me, I don't have his accuracy. Or I do have his accuracy at 204%. He still doesn't land this thing. I don't understand why. Maybe because I'm facing too hard of a clan boss and the resistance is up. But he just doesn't place the poison like I would think that he would, especially with having his accuracy so high. Hungering Plague, another poison move. Wow, he seems like he would be so fantastic for the clan boss. More poison, more 5% poison, placing huge damage on the clan boss if you can land the poison. Again, not landing like I thought it would, especially with such high accuracy that he has. I just have not been impressed. Rot Within, another great move to go along with this champion that seems on paper like it would be so awesome. Attacks one enemy, damage increases by 25% against targets under poison debuffs. So not only do you have 2 attacks, A1, A2, that drop poison on the enemy, but your A3 increases the damage when you have a poison debuff. So if you have other poison champions attacking the clan boss, you would think this guy would be dropping major numbers on the guy. But really, it just doesn't happen. Total disappointment with Yaga. He does have an aura, increases the accuracy in all battles by 40. Like I said, his accuracy is high as it is, and he just doesn't land those poisons. I just don't understand. Yaga the Insatiable, pass. do not train. If you don't have any other poison champions, then yeah, go ahead, train him. He will be good for the clan boss if you're attacking those low clan bosses and you don't have anybody with poison or HP burn or bomb or anything like that. He could help you, but for me, he is outshined by so many other champions that I have that I feel bad, like in my soul, that I trained this guy. Like, he pissed me off. Why? Why are you so bad? You should be so much better than you are, but you're not. Yeah. So that's the champions that I have so far that I've utilized, that I use regularly, or at least that I have trained to level 50. I hope that helps you out with some of the champions that you may or may not have, or that you inspire to get. I do have a bunch of champions that I'm sleeping on. I just scored 2 legendaries today. Two. I got War Mother, who I've wanted so bad, and I've also got Blind Seer. I haven't tried them out. War Mother's been kicking my butt in PvP with those bombs, and it's just very, very annoying. I cannot wait to get her up there so I can utilize her also. Blind Seer, I haven't seen much of her out there, but she looks like Gorgorob or someone similar. She got the turn meters and everything else that maybe, what's his name, Golden Reaper has. So that could be a good champion. I mean, they're legendary. Of course, I'm going to train them. I'm going to try them out. But my question is to you guys right now is that I've got a lot of champions. A lot. And just like you and everybody else out there, you don't know who's good unless you try them yourself. And these are the champions that I've tried. Like I said, 6 months on this game, and these are the champions that I put all my focus in, and I've artifacted them up, I put in the masteries on them, and I've tried them out, and this is what I know. This is the knowledge that I have. What I'm asking from you, share your knowledge with me. Which champions did you receive going through the game, and which champions did you like? Which champions did you waste your time on? And which champions would you steer clear of entirely? Which champions do you inspire to have? All these things will help me in the future because, honestly, guys, like I said, I've got a ton of champions. Now, we're going to go through my food here right now. I did get Bulwark. Oh, that's not him. Is that him? No. Rock Bearer. That guy seems badass, too. Can't wait to go through and see him. I got a few dwarfs that I like a lot. Bulwark, he's going to be a clan boss champion because of his passive ability of 30% chance of increasing the duration of all debuffs. That's insane. And he's got HP burn. He's going to be an awesome champion. I just know it. I haven't used him yet, so I can't say 100%, but from on paper, he looks like he's going to be an awesome champion. He's also a rare champion, so odds are you're going to get him before you get an epic. He's a void, so you only get at least one opportunity a month to get a void champion if you're doing your missions or doing your daily quests rather. But I bought all these voids today and a lot of rares. I can't wait to dive deep into these guys, but it's probably going to be a couple of weeks. So if you guys see somebody in my champions that I have that I shouldn't be sleeping on, that I should be moving on right away, please feel free, let me know. If you want, look me up on the Discord. It's Sal is the best with an exclamation point, and then Sal and best are capitalized. Or you can comment on this video on YouTube, and I will try to get back with you. I've got all these rare champions that are going to be food if someone doesn't change my mind beforehand. Also, you guys, here are my ones that I have in my vault that I've been sleeping on, only really using for faction wars because I really haven't field tested them Faction Wars has been good to me in the regards that I've been able to train these champions and use them and kind of see how their skills work and who works well with what. So if you see a champion here, guys, that I'm sleeping on, please let me know and tell me why I shouldn't be sleeping on them, because I know I've got a lot of champions, I've got a lot of food, and I have the ability to train somebody. I just don't know who. So with that, I know this video has been long. I hope it's been helpful for you guys. In the near future, I'll give you a little bit of some battles or some more information that I have come across. I'll try to make the videos shorter, because who wants to sit down and listen to someone talk for 30 minutes? It's really hard to do. And I thank you if you made it this far through my video, because I'm sure that it was kind of painful listening to my voice for this long. But with that, please like, share, comment on my video, subscribe if that's even an option when I post this, and let me know your comments, guys. If I've been sleeping on a champion, or if I made a mistake with, or if you have a different opinion, please let me know. I want to hear from you guys, because like I said, knowledge is power, and the more we utilize the community, guys, the better we're all going to get at Raid. And I'm in it for the long run. I want to help everybody build and grow. I hope you guys feel the same with me. So, until next time, guys, I will talk to you later. Holy cow, 90 minutes. Holy cow. I'm so sorry.